any technology has value. It doesn't necessarily have values. That's what we bring to it as individuals, as humans. I think there's tremendous promise in AI. There's also potential harm, but there's tremendous promise for news organizations, both to help analyze, for instance, large reams of data to understand where the story might be, and also to help put stories together. I think there's a particularly interesting opportunity for organizations that serve local communities to help broaden their coverage on matters that aren't necessarily serious news, but matter to the community. Local sports, for instance. Can it write up a story about a local soccer game based on just the statistics that it was fed? So I think there's tremendous opportunity there as we evolve those tools, as journalists work to evolve those tools to help broaden the coverage of local publications.
Technology is an enabler, but it is also potentially a threat to journalism. Technology is an enabler in the sense that journalists now have tools at their disposal, like artificial intelligence, things like ChatGPT, large language models that people can use to generate stories very quickly, do their research much faster, do their investigations much faster. But at the same time, it's a threat in three ways. One is that it threatens the jobs of journalists because now if things can be done faster, then you need less journalists to do the writing. Two is that it also threatens in the sense that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and especially because there's so many people now putting out information, so there's a lot of misinformation out there. And three is that the received ways of journalism making money are now being taken away by the technology companies and the digital technology companies. Google and Facebook make most of the money that should go to journalists.
Human beings are adaptive. So whether you agree today or the other, like today, Voice of Nigeria is in the smartphone. Why are we in the smartphone? When you're smartphone, because a lot of people have not taken their time to buy the pocket radio they used to buy. So we now are in one application in the smartphone, simple radio application, Radio Garden, tuning radio. And the same thing is with the NTA and the News Agency of Nigeria, our sister agencies. So we keep on moving with the time.
I feel that some of them are actually intimidated. If they are not bold enough, sometimes they don't speak out, or rather they reserve some information because of higher authorities. It's a very big problem. But I know some that if you follow them up, you notice that they speak out, they don't care, they don't mind, as long as it's within their duty. So they say the truth, their integrity level is high, but some need to become more intentional. The media, they're actually trying in the aspect of a woman, in the aspect of helping lift women and children. I will give you a practical example. Just like in this conference, during the breakout section, I met a lot of media personalities, and then I talked to them about my book, The Wife, the Mom, and the Side Chick. I narrated what the book is all about, and they were interested to help me push it further to the society so that the reason for the book will get across the universe. So I think they are doing much, but they can do more.
Later, one of the panelists yesterday said he hopes that it gets better because we're just coming up. People look down on journalists a lot. Sometimes we go to events, they'll ask other people to sit down, they'll ask us to stand. We're just doing our job. We go to school like every other person. Yes, no much recognition. And
number one, the journalists of this generation, they're also part of the society that is facing economic hardship. Most of them go about their jobs without a salary that match their input. And some organizations, whether government or private, don't even care about increasing these salaries.
Sierra Leone, we are making progress. Before now, safety and security used to be a thorn in the flesh for us, and because we had the criminal and seditious libel law. And that one was used 99% by politicians. So when I came, I said, okay, let's change the approach. We've been doing this for 50 years. Let's let's try something new, let's innovate. And so let's engage, let's dialogue. And so we invited the police to a round table, and under the Office of the National Security, which is the umbrella body for all the security forces, the police, the army, and the correctional center, yes, and they all came and we sat on the table and we discussed this issue and said, okay, let's cooperate and let's support one another. And so this time we went to the elections in 2023, June 2023, and we have no issue of assault against any journalist there right now.
Like you said, you had to step into action by gathering the armed forces and giving them a training, right? So is there a consistent plan for this to happen even after your session as the president?
Yes, because of the MOU, and now what we have done in terms of safety and security. Yes. No, we review it every year. Yes, we reviewed it before the elections. And what we have done beyond that, and with support from the Media Foundation for West Africa, and we have the Media Reform Coordinating Group in our country, which looks at reform in laws and safety of journalists. We've established now a policy on the safety and security of journalists. We've also established a national coordinating committee for the safety and security of journalists, which is very inclusive and diverse. We have the media there, we have the security people there, we have the traditional leaders there, the religious council there, we have civil society there, and we have youths there, and they're all there in the community. So what we want to do now is to lobby government and to ensure that this one is legislated and becomes part of the law and becomes part of everybody's responsibility, the government.
Awesome. Okay, now you've been here in Nigeria for this West African conference on innovation and journalism. What's your take so far?
So far, I'm really excited and impressed by just the breadth and width of the experience and the camaraderie that I'm seeing here. Everyone seems to be extremely excited to be working together, to be talking about the issues that everyone faces.
Okay, could you just walk us through some of the projects you've done with your lab in Duke University so that we have an idea of how it's impacting journalism practice, especially the infusion of technology?
Sure. So at Duke University, we specialize in misinformation and fact-checking especially. We build tools for fact checkers all around the world. We work on policy, we do trainings, we help organize events and bring fact checkers from all across the globe into the same room or virtually. And some of the main topics that we've covered are things like structured data for fact checks. So we created a system called Claim Review, which is a data format for misinformation fact checks so that they can be better archived, better usable. If you've ever seen a fact check show up in a Google search result, that's powered by that.
What inspired me is that journalists, they look like not really harmful, like they won't do anything, but like people take that for granted, and everybody has another side, and once you get to that side, it's like a lion. So like cute as a cat, spirit of a lion. So like that's what inspired me.
Awesome. I mean, look at this beautiful work. Okay, so can you tell us the inspiration behind your piece and the message you hope to communicate with it?
So it is about journalism. So the path is going towards pen and sword. So the pen is always mightier than the sword. So pen is what pen want is always peace. So P-E-A-C-E, peace in English, and aman in Urdu, in my language. So the seminar, they told us about the violence happening on journalism and the journalist, and it is not happening now. It is like a history of it, and history like is full of it. So when people have start writing history, the kings used to hire people to write their history. So they write two types of history, one to please the king, but one, the original one, to be booked for the next generation. So because history is something, and history is just written by the pen. So those journalism lose their life by saying the truth, by talking about peace, by want to make this world a better place. So instead of mourning on their death, we should present them flower and stay on their path, that whatever they are saying the truth.